What's going on, y'all? So we are back for another episode review of The Haves and the Have-Nots, Season 5, Episode 9, Praying for Light. Listen, this episode drained me because, you know, I'm just sitting here like, Hannah, you gonna have to go. I ain't never really said Hannah had to go, but Hannah, it's getting old, okay? We know you don't fuck with, we get there. So the episode started off with the DA dude, where Jim and Catherine they going back and forth once again. Lips so goddamn greasy. Okay. And next thing you know, the DA dude comes and comes over to the house and all this stuff. Hold on, what they say? I'm sorry. Anyway, no. The DA dude come over to the house, okay? Mr. Korean, all right? And he basically is trying to make small talks. Hey, Jim, how you been? Hey, Catherine, haven't been over here in a while. This house is so big. The last time, wait a minute, but something is off, okay? The last time I was over here, you had 4 chairs. Where is it at? It's just 3. Why you taking? I said, bruh, don't even worry about that. That's not what you came over here for. So why you all up in their mix and trying to, feng shui their apartment, they house and all that shit? Catherine said, bitch, do you want to buy the stuff? She said, here, it's yours. I said, Catherine, calm down. You putting it out there that y'all got marital issues because Jim trying to play the doting husband. Catherine is trying to play the bitch. I don't give a fuck about this nigga. I'm finna divorce him and I'm finna be out. As soon as you leave out the door, I'm leaving out the door with you type of wife. That's what she playing. Catherine is fed the fuck up. All right. He wanted to talk to Jim in private. Catherine said, bitch, I am his privacy. So whatever you have to say with him, you're going to say it right here into my face. Child, they started talking about, well, I'm sorry about what was going on, with Wyatt and him trying to, put a case against you and testify against you. Oh, yes, but we'll figure that out and all that stuff. And it was like, oh, okay, so you kind of respect him a little bit. I don't know why, but you do. So, next thing you know, he was like, but, Veronica is the lawyer for Candice, okay, on this case. And we found a body on Candice's property, all right? And he was like, okay, so what the fuck they got to do with me? It was like, the bank that owned the house or whatever, because it's going to be a problem with the warrant that she can probably challenge because the house went into foreclosure and all this shit. And he was like, okay, and so at this moment in time, Catherine is looking like, so this bitch once again causing some trouble. What you want to do? Bitch, do you know where she live at? I was like, why would I give you that? I don't know shit about this hoe no more. Okay? Child, DA dude pulled out this envelope and was like, here, I want you to refresh your memory and look at this shit. Baby, it was them pictures, them dominatrix pictures and S&M and, all this fisting ass shit. I'm sitting here like, so excuse me, and I really want somebody from Tyler Perry Land to clear this up for me because I like to know stuff like this, but I just really want to know clear some shit up because I'm pretty sure a couple of y'all maybe, 1, 2, y'all was wondering the same thing that I was wondering when them pictures were shown. I said, now, when Candice was doing this shit and when he set that stuff, when she set this shit up and had them people come down there, I thought they was just posing. Now, were they just posing with Jim in different position, or were they actually performing the actual acts with Jim on Jim? Because of one of them pictures looked like he was, just like Catherine said, bitch, it looked like you're liking it, okay? That looked like pleasure on your face. I was like, And then one of them pictures, one dude was sucking one dude off and he was behind that dude and it looked like he was grabbing on his ass, on the side of his ass, like bracing it. And I'm talking about Jim, it looked like he was inside him. Now, was he just pressed up against him or was he actually inside him? Listen. I know I ain't the only one that had these questions, I want details. And it looked like, dude had put his dingling all up on Jim's face like this. I said, man, that's not right. I said, what? The hell? And basically the DA dude said, if you don't cooperate with me, you gonna hope that these pictures don't get out. Okay, because I got them from Candice's place. Child Catherine was like, so this how this bitch done got your ass, okay? She done blackmailed your ass out of my motherfucking money, because it ain't your money, it's my money. I said, Catherine, go the fuck off. Okay, she was over it. The DA want him to wear a wire, okay? And he was like, what does this have to do with me? I don't know nothing about no murder. I don't know nothing about nothing. He said, I just want you to get her on tape admitting that she was extorting you. You know? And I said, listen, Candice can't take no more L's this season, okay? She been taking L's since the last season. And I'm just about tired of it. I need bad bitch Candice back. You know what I'm saying? Because this, love is blind and it'll take over your mind. And Oscar came in and swooped in like a thief in the night and stuck her dead in her heart. And she was here for it. And she got taken. I said, God damn it. I need her to come back. I need her to rise up like the phoenix, okay? The phoenix that we liked, all right? Because this ain't happening. I said, bitch, if you get caught on tape doing some shit and admitting some shit like this, girl, I'm going to be so fucking mad at you. I'm going to be over because we already got Hannah ass on your back. And Hannah, oh, my God. Hannah. First of all, Catherine said, you let that little girl get you in this situation. You out your ever-loving mind. I was like, what that girl do to you, boo? Catherine, she has her right to be pissed off and all that shit, but hey, that's what happens when you stay in a marriage that ain't even shit and you know the man don't love you or whatever, and you just doing it trying to keep up appearances. So, a little part of me, just a little part of me don't really feel bad for Catherine because, you decide to stay. And this situation is kind of like when they said Melania was miserable as a first lady, baby, you decided to stay. So, what you want us to do? I'm just saying. You see how that circle back around the block? Child, back at the hotel room with Benny and this thing just pissed me off. It pissed me off. Sometimes y'all be in my comments and y'all be like, Hannah, I can't stand Hannah, this and that. And I be like, I be sitting here reading the comments. I mean, she just doing what a mother would do, and all that stuff. But tonight, y'all, I saw it. It was no real defending. I can't do it because Hannah was irking. She annoyed me so much more than she ever has in this whole series. This inception, I just was like, Hannah, you assume a lot, and no matter if they tell you the absolute positive truth, you already have it made up in your mind that they're lying, okay? Or they're leaving something out when they're not. Girl, Benny won't let Candice out the hotel room. And, Hannah all up in their business. And, of course, she's going to be concerned. And I just don't trust Hannah because of the fact that Hannah is so self-righteous and so uprighteous and all that stuff. She the type of bitch, you tell them what's going on, she gonna go snitch. She'll snitch on her kids. Like, and I know some people like that. I said, no, I won't. If you see, when it comes to your children, and depending on the type of relationship you have, would you snitch on your kid? Okay, because listen, let my mama snitch on me about some shit. I will never look at her saying, like, after all the shit I did for you, and you gonna take your ass down to the police station, you gonna snitch to save your... Oh, okay. If especially if I'm defending myself. Child, fuck that, okay? Hannah does not want to put it in her mind. I'm sitting here like, Hannah, girl, you gonna ask did Benny kill somebody, what this girl got you into, just coming down on Hannah, Candice and all this shit. It was just so irritating, let her go, let her go. She ain't shit, she ain't shit. What devil? And you as the parent, you can't really sit here and tell me that you expect some respect from this girl to give to you when you talk to her the way that you talk to her, okay? And I'm not even letting Candice off the hook. Candice talks to her that way because of the way Hannah talks to her that way. And Hannah talks to her that way because of the way Candice talks. It's a fucking cycle that needs to be broken, and it's just all messed up, okay? Mind you, she's sitting there reading her Bible or holding her Bible. I'm sitting here like, girl, talk about something you need to go turn yourself in. I understand. She said both y'all asses need to go turn yourself in. I said, girl, Hannah, I know you trying to do the right thing, but at this moment in time, it's a lot of shit in play. Now, you doing too much for me. You doing too much for me. You're not even trying to hit him out or nothing like that. And even when they was about to tell you what was going on, no, did you kill him? Benny, did you kill him? Did you do that? Uh-huh. Y'all gonna go to hell. Y'all gonna do this. Child, when Candice gave that mock-ass, sarcastic-ass prayer, it was like, oh, Lord, and I prayed for this. Bitch, I fucking died. I said, okay, that's some of the shady shit I probably would have did too. Like, bitch, what you trying to say? Okay, what are you trying to say? She said, do you know who my father is? I said, oh, y'all opening up. Oh, so when shit like this happens, this is when all the old wounds and stuff get opened up. Y'all notice that? And that's in real life. You get into it with somebody, it can't never stay on what the present fucking conflict is. It always go back to the past. She said, bitch, can you tell me who my daddy is? No. See, you little hoe. Let me tell you something. The reason why, and I always say this, the reason why Candice and Hannah relationships are the same, get like this, is because they damn near the same person. Candice is a younger version of Hannah. Hannah was a thought back in her day, okay? Hannah was fucking around with a married man. Hannah don't even know who her baby daddy is, okay? So, that's just a hustler from one, and one hustle to another. That's how it come. Because Hannah is born again all of a sudden. You remember she said that a couple seasons ago. You know what I'm saying? So, you just gonna let them raid the place. First of all, the place ain't even hers no more. So it ain't up to her. And I'm just sitting here like, girl, Hannah was just doing too fucking much for me. Oh, you gonna let your baby see you this way and you gonna do this and all this stuff. And I'm like, Hannah, get the fuck out of here. But then again, I said, bring Hannah ass back, because Hannah got her ass up to leave. And I said, come, somebody go find her and see where the hell she going, because she the type of bitch that I told you, she probably go to the police station. You know what I'm saying? But I felt as though, regardless of the situation and regardless of your feelings that you have for this girl, at this moment, this would have been a moment that you could have put that shit aside and tried to really, really hear her out and understand that if she did, we're going to say if, even though we know, the fact that she killed this man is not just out of evilness or whatever. Most likely, how can you not put it in your mind that it could be a possibility that it was out of self-defense? How can you not put it in your mind that this man probably attacked her after all the stuff that went on in their relationship, and how Quincy was? Hell, he tried to burn down your damn house, all right? He took her son away from her. And you sitting here with this self-righteous, holier than thou ass outlook on this whole thing, and it's irritating the hell out of me, all right? So I'm thinking she finna get up and go to the cops. Girl, Benny said, bitch, where the fuck you going? Okay, you can go in that bathroom, but ain't no exit. I said, Benny, shut your mouth up. Okay, Benny was being real rude. I mean, but he was upset. He got all his shit taken away from him. So it's like, no more nice Benny. It's kind of cute too. I just, it's just, sometimes getting people mad and letting them come at you like that, not physical. Let's not do that, okay? We got enough of some shit that's been going on today alone. Not that. But, get them a little pissed off. That's kind of hot. To me it is, you know what I'm saying? Let me make you angry on purpose. Oh, let me stop playing. Because Benny said, I'll beat your ass just so you won't go, okay? Trying to save your life or whatever. This is going to the bathroom and she trying to call Erica on a date with David at the Artesian, okay? So they about to eat their food. Now this is what I be observing a lot of stuff. I'm a Capricorn, we observe, okay? And I caught this detail. They put that food down on the table, right? I said, what is that? It looked like nothing. All right. I said, what the fuck is this? Y'all on diets or some shit? It looked like rabbit food or something. I was like, what is this? Until David picked up that fork and he put it down and I heard the crunch. I said, oh my God, that's supposed to be lettuce? I said, that's supposed to be a salad? First of all, that salad was dry as hell. One, okay? It was small as fuck. I mean, You ain't had to have a huge salad, okay? You could have had just a little bit more up in there, and it was wilted looking. I said, what type of shit? Put some oil or something on that shit if you don't want no heavy ass dressing. Like, what the hell is this? Y'all finna eat this? Ain't no flavor into it. Y'all been up in white people land a little bit too long. I just couldn't. So Candice had called Erica trying to see what's going on and tell her some update. She was like, girl, where you at? She was like, I'm at this hotel. What hotel? You still out here in Savannah? I said, Candice, don't you open up your mouth and tell her nothing else. She was like, girl, no. Some hotel, I don't know, because Benny the one that took me, he won't even let me out the house, let me out the room or whatever. And so she was like, girl, I'ma try to come there to your hotel and I need to borrow some clothes from you. I need to borrow some hair. I said some hair. Okay, you know, I need to borrow some stuff. And she was like, okay, but listen, I'm on a date with David, you know what I'm saying? She was like, so did you get him in bed yet? No, girl, no, girl. But, I'm working it. And did you tell him that, did he ask who was on the phone or whatever? No, no, no. So when you go back, tell him that it was your sister and all that stuff so it can make him feel a type of way or whatever. Okay, girl, whatever. But, come over here before we go upstairs to the room because when we go up in there, we gonna be up in there. I said, all right. And I said, you know what? She was asking too many questions for me, Erica, at one point. And I said, Candice, don't you say nothing else because I don't trust that bitch and you shouldn't either, all right? She on the inside for somebody. I just can't figure out who. I can't figure it out who. She playing a whole bunch of sides to me if you ask me that. Um, she come back and David talk about something. Everything all right? And she was like, yes, I'm glad we sitting here, we having this conversation and drinking this wine and something. He was like, yeah, the wine is good, but I need something a little bit stronger. I mean, we can do that, we can do that. I mean, you ain't got to go to work in the morning, do you? I set my own hours, I do my own thing. I said, pause, David. David knew what he was finna get into. He said, let me liquor her up so I can go fuck it up. I said, all right, David, go ahead, get her all loose and shit. I mean, you ain't even have to have no alcohol to do that. She about ready to give you the draws anyway. Because I honestly feel like Erica is actually trying or about to start falling for David. Okay, something is telling me that. So after that, Hannah goes over there to War place. Child, War was sitting there smoking the blunt. Hannah said, take that shit and tut it out. I said, ooh, War, you gonna let her talk to you like that? He gonna say, Mama Hannah. And I said, first of all, pause. Don't call me mama when you trying to kill my kids. Okay. And he basically told her, she was like, when did you hear when she came in? It was like, who is you coming up in here? She was like, boy, if you don't shut up, I'll tell your mama. So Hannah know everybody up in there, okay? She practically raised probably damn near all of them, and especially War. War like her own kid, okay? So this is why she's not understanding why War is trying to kill Hannah, Candice and come after her, and why won't he just let it go and all that shit. War is on this stupid, egotistical path of I gotta be a certain way because if I show some weakness around my niggas, they gonna look at me and be like, nah, this nigga a weak bitch and try to take over and all that shit. I said, bro, if you don't shut your mouth up, now I have to give Canna this props for this, cause if I really couldn't stand a bitch, I just let shit really happen to her. But it's obvious that regardless of the way that she puts on with Candice, that is her child, and she still do love her child. She just not here for the person. You can love a person, but you don't have to like them. She don't like her child because of the shit that she does and because she reminds her of her old self, all right? But she loves her child because she came there trying to talk War out of doing anything to Candice. She was like, now this bitch is a double crosser and all this shit. Why don't you just let that shit go? I mean, basically when she said that, she said you was dumb enough to think that she was gonna be on the up and up with you because you already know how she is. So you need to take that L, bro, because you did that shit yourself. I was like, okay, Hannah, talk that shit. All right, Hannah was like, bitch, I've been out here on the street since the '60s. I know how to work this stuff. Okay, she threw a little bit of hood up in there. She threw a little bit of unchristian, and she was like, listen. You can't do this, okay? Let it the fuck go. She stole from me. She didn't give me the stuff that she was supposed to do, and she set me up and put this. I said, now you know damn well that she didn't set your ass up. Now see, Ward and Hannah damn near the same in this part. They like to assume and they don't want to accept the truth, okay? Mitch told you the truth about that shit, and you still gonna put it on fucking Candice. And at the end of the day, I don't think it even really got to him, all right? Because Hannah left in a huff, okay, and was lit that blunt back up, like he was thinking about some shit that she was saying. But I don't think it really, hit home to him and like it was gonna do something. Girl, meanwhile, Jeffrey in bed. We get to the scene where Jeffrey is in bed. They had opposite ends with Justin, the officer. And Jeffrey sitting there like this. I said, but why are you so mad? Like, did you not get yours? I mean, it looked like he got his and he enjoyed it. Like, what's going on? Because it was like a stark contrast of what was going on. Jeffrey was just looking deep in thought and pissed off and shit. And Justin sitting back like this. I love this. I love what you do to me and everything. You really brought out the real me, and I love the fact that we together, and that I can just be myself with you, and I really love spending time with you. You gonna have to get the fuck out. Justin was like, wait a minute, excuse me, get out, okay? He was like, nah, bro, we ain't finna play these games. No, no, okay, it's shit that's going on. It ain't what this ain't finna happen. I said, listen, Jeffrey ain't got no power nowhere else, okay? He can't stand up to his mama. He can't stand up to Candice. He can't stand up to nobody else. But when he in that bedroom, Jeffrey is in control, bitch. Jeffrey has always been with Landon, okay? I would say Wyatt, but that ain't happened yet. With this boy, with anybody else that he was with, Jeffrey be in control. Like, that vagina must be magical. It must be shooting rainbows and unicorn dust out here because they be falling deep in love after one. Put the tip in and it just be like, goddamn, bitch, I'm here for you for everything you need. Okay, just call me up. I will be there like that. I be like, goddamn, Jeffrey, what is it? Give me your secret, okay? But that's when he get that text from Wyatt and he was like, my friend needs help. I gotta go. What friend? No, I just gotta go. So at this point in time, they leave. Then we get this scene with Veronica and Melissa. Girl, Veronica comes into the house, see Melissa on the couch. She was like, are your feet on my couch? She was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I would have asked the same damn thing because it was a white couch. You don't do shit like that. That's disrespectful. You don't put your feet on my couch, period, okay? And you don't put your shoes on my floor. Take them things off at the beginning of and sit them at the door. Don't travel that shit up inside. So she was like, how are things going? Okay, so you getting ready for Jeffrey? Today is shave night, okay? And you need to go upstairs and you need to shave your legs. And she was like, Jeffrey, you do know that Jeffrey don't like me like that. I was like, what do you mean? You have to make him. I mean, the last time um, y'all got down. She was like, but yeah, I really had to like it took so much and a whole lot of alcohol. Well, make more, okay, and give him a whole lot more to alcohol. I said, Veronica, you have got to get out of this child. She act like these delusional ass stands. They be in a world of their own that they cannot get out of, and Veronica is stuck there, and she just don't get it. Even this girl is telling him, he don't even like my fish, okay? He don't like fish, he likes sausage. He is on an all meat diet, not a vegetarian. Like, no, what is going on? He like red meat, not white meat. What the hell? I'm confused, Veronica. Why are you doing this? And then you didn't even pay my daddy's hospital bills. I didn't for the past 2 payments. And at that moment in time, when she was just reading the fuck and shaking the shit out of this girl for no reason, she was like, you need to go out there and you need to shave your legs every day. Don't no man want no woman that's gonna have heavy legs and stuff like that. She was like, and grow a beard under her breath. She was like, excuse me, what did you say? And let me tell you something, don't no man want no nagging ass bitch, okay? So you need to work on that. And ain't no good night. It's shave night. Now go up there and do what you gotta do. At this moment in time, Veronica opens up the laptop and she in the flowers that she gave Erica, it was a camera. She was like, David, you know me well because the flowers are outside the door. Okay, but if the flowers are outside the door, Candice is coming up there. I'm pretty sure she gonna catch Candice going into that room. So she gonna put two and two together. I said, damn. But here's my thing with what's that girl name? Melissa. Now, the whole reason why you in this is because Veronica said that she would pay for your father's treatments and stuff like that. She hasn't paid in the past couple of days, or a couple of months or so, or whatever. At this moment in time, she reneged on a deal, so baby, you can back the fuck out. Okay? You can fucking leave if you ask me. I mean, hey, it is what it is, you know. And so at the end, we get Officer Justin and what's his name? Jeffrey, they go to Wyatt's place. Mind you, Quita and her boyfriend is laid, knocked out on the bed. I said, I thought y'all had sex. So y'all had sex and put y'all clothes back on and y'all shoes? Oh, okay. And then Wyatt is just still squirming in pain, you know, going through withdrawals. Jeffrey come over there trying to help him. Justice say, hey, y'all, wake the fuck up. Okay, Quita Maxwell, I know you, you know. And they up there lying about why they there. Oh, he invited me there trying to get drugs and all this shit. Technically, he was in their neighborhood trying to get drugs, but he ain't invite y'all there, okay? Talking about money and all this shit. So they handcuffed, he told him to handcuff them and all that. Take him out. He requests backup. Next thing you know, this shit just blew me. And this how I knew that Justin was so far gone. And I didn't know how to feel about this because I thought it was cute that he, you know, was feeling a little jealousy. But then again, I was like, bitch, you doing too much. You know, Jeffrey go over there trying to help Wyatt and all this shit. He get upset. He get upset. Don't put your hands on him like that. What are you doing? He was like, bitch, he ain't even fucking gay. But you in love with him, though. You love him. So what? So what? That's not what. And then you gonna have me here. I didn't ask you to come here. Listen, you're gonna have to stop, okay? It's either him or me. So you really want me to choose my friend over you? You really gonna ask me that? Like, this motherfucker needs help. Like, he is really trying to tell him, you need to go to a program and all this stuff. And Justin is thinking about, oh, he really wants this motherfucker. I said, Justin, you been out the closet for a few seconds. And you about to go right back in there. Don't you remember that you got a wife and kids? Who are you to be jealous like this? Okay? And then they get into a fight. Because he going to go down there and tell them, you know, because Wyatt didn't put his own shit out there saying that, you know, Wyatt and him put it out there that he was out there trying to buy some drugs, that he is a drug addict. So because he's in his feelings, Justin said, take them people off, release them. Next thing you know, they get into a fight. I'm sitting here like, what the hell are y'all doing? And I mean, y'all went from being all lovey-dovey to beating each other ass. And I mean, beating each other ass. And see, this is where Wyatt had me fucked up. Wyatt got off the couch to try to come at Justin. I think he got a punch in or two, you know, but Justin flipped that ass and he was literally on the floor just fucked up. But here's my thing. So you can get up and defend Jeffrey, but you couldn't defend yourself and launch at old boy. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't take him down. You had enough energy to do that. I just had some questions, okay? You know, what was that all about? So next thing you know, Officer Justin's his gun fall, and somehow Jeffrey gets it. And in the same time that they fighting and he gets this gun, another officer comes up with his gun drawn. And at the end of the episode, we see him saying, put the gun down. And then all of a sudden it's like, pop, do somebody get shot? Bitch, is it Wyatt or whatever? Because next week, I know it ain't Jeffrey because Veronica gonna tell old boy, stay the fuck away from my son. I was like, all right. You know, that was the haves and the have-nots, y'all. Y'all tell me how y'all feel. I gave y'all a long review. All right. And I'll see y'all later. Peace.